You think you're in complete control of your life, right? That with enough willpower, enough planning, you can draw a straight line from where you are to where you want to be. But you can't, and it's not your fault. Every time you failed, every time a project ran out of steam, every time your motivation mysteriously vanished, you weren't witnessing a personal weakness. You were bumping up against a cosmic law, an invisible architecture that governs the universe, from the spinning of galaxies to the beating of your own heart. These laws dictate that nothing in life ever moves in a straight line. They're the reason for your greatest successes and your most frustrating failures. Most people will live and die without ever knowing these laws exist, forever blaming themselves or just plain bad luck. But today, you will learn the secret. You'll learn how to see these laws, how to understand them, and most importantly, how to work with them to achieve what once seemed impossible. Think about that project you abandoned, that New Year's resolution that was ancient history by February, that passionate relationship that just stalled. You told yourself it was a lack of willpower. You thought it was bad luck. You were wrong. These are not your personal failures. They are the predictable results of a hidden law of the universe, a law that dictates nothing ever moves in a straight line. And until you learn to create a specific kind of shock, you are doomed to repeat this pattern forever. Section 1. The problem, life in fits and starts. Let's be real for a second. Does your life feel like a smooth, steady climb? Or is it more like a series of intense efforts followed by frustrating plateaus? You start a new diet with incredible enthusiasm. For 2 weeks, you're a superhero. You're preparing healthy meals, hitting the gym, and you feel fantastic. And then week 3 hits, the momentum is just gone. The effort that was once easy now feels like dragging a boulder uphill. You tell yourself you'll get back to it tomorrow, but tomorrow never really comes. The diet fizzles out. Or think about a business venture. You've got a brilliant idea. The first few months are a whirlwind of creative energy. You build the website, you design the product, you make your first sales, everything is moving forward. And then it just stops. The growth flatlines. The initial excitement is replaced by the mundane reality of the daily grind. You feel stuck, and you can't explain why the energy that shot you out of a cannon has suddenly disappeared. This isn't just about big projects either. It happens when you feel stuck in a dilemma. Should you stay in the job you dislike but offers security, or pursue your passion with all its uncertainty? You swing back and forth, one day convinced of one path, the next day pulled right back to the other. You're paralyzed, caught between two opposing forces with no clear way forward. This universal experience of life moving in fits and starts is something we all face. We blame ourselves. We think, if only I were more disciplined, more motivated. But what if this pattern has nothing to do with you personally? What if it's as impersonal and predictable as the law of gravity? The 20th century mystic George Gurdjieff claimed that these exact experiences are direct evidence of two fundamental cosmic laws secretly orchestrating our lives. Section 2. The revelation, the law of 7 and the law of 3. So why does your life never move in a straight line? Gurdjieff called the first reason the law of 7, or the law of octaves. This law states that no process in the universe unfolds in a continuous, linear way. Instead, everything develops in a 7-step progression, just like the musical scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. Imagine your goal-getting in shape, writing a book, building a business as the journey from a low do to the do of the next higher octave. You start with the energy of do. The initial progress carries you through re and mi. This is the honeymoon phase where enthusiasm makes everything feel effortless. But the law of 7 states that within every octave, there are 2 specific points where the energy naturally falters. These are the intervals. The first interval happens between mi and fa. That's the moment in week 3 of your diet. It's that point a few months into your business where the initial momentum dies. The vibration slows down and the process naturally tends to deviate or stop completely. According to Gurdjieff's teaching, this isn't a moral failing. It's a lawful feature of the universe. If you manage to push past that first interval, the energy picks up again through sol, la, and si. You're nearing the finish line. But then, right before you reach the final the completion of your goal, the second interval hits. This is the si-do interval. It's the reason the final 10% of a project can feel like it takes 90% of the effort. It's that last push to finish the book when you've already written 200 pages. Without a conscious effort here, the project will remain forever incomplete. This explains why our efforts fade, but what about that feeling of being stuck in a deadlock? For that, we need the second great cosmic law, the Law of Three. This law states that every single phenomenon in the universe, from the creation of a star to the creation of a thought, is the result of three forces, not two. These forces are: 1. The affirming force, the active or initiating force. 2. The denying force, the resisting or passive force. 3. The reconciling force, the neutralizing or harmonizing force. We're all too familiar with the first two. Your desire to change is an affirming force. Your ingrained habits are a denying force. As long as you are stuck between only these two, you are in a state of paralysis. Nothing new can be created. A car can't move if the accelerator and the brake are pressed with equal force. For any real change to occur, a third force must be introduced. Think of it this way. A seed, affirming, on its own is just a seed. The soil, denying, provides resistance and nutrients. But without the third force of sunlight and water, reconciling, no new life can emerge. When you're stuck in a dilemma, it's because you only see two options. Your third force blind, locked in an endless tug-of-war. Now that we understand the problem of inertia and the hidden laws that cause it, the next question is the practical one. What do we do about them? If you're finding this exploration valuable and want to learn how to work with these hidden structures of reality, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Section 3. The solution, creating the conscious shock. This is the most important part of this entire message. You are not a helpless victim of these cosmic laws. Their existence doesn't condemn you to a life of half-finished projects. In fact, understanding them is the first step to becoming a conscious co-creator with the universe. The secret to overcoming the intervals in the Law of Seven is to introduce a shock at the right moment. A shock is a conscious, deliberate input of new energy that helps your project bridge the gap where the momentum naturally fades. You don't wait for the shock to happen by accident. You create it intentionally. Let's make this practical. When you feel your diet fading at the MIFA interval, what could a conscious shock be? You could hire a nutritionist, introducing a new source of knowledge and accountability. You could join a fitness group, injecting the energy of community into your process. You could sign up for a 5K race, creating a new, compelling goal that pulls you forward. Each of these is an external jolt of energy that was not present in the original plan. When your business starts to plateau, the shock could be investing in a new marketing course, hiring a consultant, or launching a bold new product that rekindles the creative fire. These shocks are targeted interventions applied precisely where the law predicts your energy will fail. The second shock, at the see-do interval, is just as crucial. This is the shock required for completion, often taking the form of what Gurdjieff called conscious effort. It's the disciplined decision to isolate yourself for a week to finish your manuscript, or the focused push from your team to work through the final bugs before a product launch. It is a deliberate application of will to carry the project over the finish line. Now, how do we apply this to the Law of Three? The shock that resolves the deadlock of two opposing forces is the conscious introduction of the third reconciling force. When you're stuck between your dead-end job, security, and your risky passion, freedom, pushing harder on either side only increases the tension. The third force is not another option on the same level. It's a change in perspective. It's the force of conscious awareness. You provide the third force when you step back and ask a new question. How can I create a plan that introduces more of my passion into my life while maintaining a degree of security? Or what small experimental steps can I take to test my passion's viability without quitting my job? This higher level inquiry is the reconciling force. It isn't a compromise. It's a creative solution that transcends the original conflict. One of the most profound ways Gurdjieff taught his students to practice creating shocks was through his sacred movements or dances. These complex, non-habitual movements required the student to engage their mind, emotions, and body simultaneously, forcing the three to work in harmony, a living embodiment of the Law of Three. The sequences themselves contained difficult transitions that acted as mini-intervals, and the student had to provide a shock of attention to execute them correctly, training their ability to overcome the Law of Seven in real time. These were not just dances. They were laboratories for self-transformation. For most of your life, you've been navigating a powerful current without knowing it was there. You have been pushed and pulled by the Law of Seven and deadlocked by the Law of Three, and you've mistaken these impersonal forces for personal flaws, but that ends today. The knowledge of these laws doesn't give you complete control. That was always an illusion. Instead, it gives you something far more powerful: influence. It turns you from a passive passenger into a conscious navigator. You now know that when your motivation wanes, it is not a sign to give up. It is a signal that a conscious shock is required. You now know that when you feel trapped between two poles, you are not helpless. You are simply missing the third force of a higher awareness. Look at your life. Where have your projects stalled? Where are you locked in a two-force battle? The universe doesn't want you to fail. The stalls are simply the system's neutral feedback, showing you exactly where a new kind of energy is needed. Your only task is to provide it. The secret to achieving anything is not to fight the current, but to provide the right shock at the right time. Now you have the map. I want to hear from you. Look back at your own life, at a project that fizzled out or a goal you abandoned. Can you now identify the mi-fa interval where the energy dropped? Share your realization in the comments below. Let's see these laws in action together. Be on the lookout for episode 8.